What's up, all you wonderful cosplayers and prop masters? Welcome to the joy of 3D design. My name is Skylar, and I'll be taking you through a quick and dirty build of a generic Roman gladius sword. So here we have our cube, our basic cube, and it's right about the color we want right off the bat. Sometimes you gotta find that before you get started. But here we go. We're gonna go ahead and pull this out right about there, flatten it down. Let's take a look at how thick we are. We're a little bit thick. Right about there is where we're going to sit because this is a 3D printed prop and I want the blade to have a little more stability. Okay, let's go ahead and give her a nice little chamfer right there. That's nice. Gives it a nice bevel. I like that. We'll go with that. Now, let's take a look from up above. Make sure we're still got the length and width that we want. Okay, now that we've got that, go ahead and click apply. From here, we're going to move this off. I'm going to make it shorter there. I'm going to take off the chamfer. I'm going to make it fatter, and then I'm going to turn it into an eraser tool. This is what's going to give us the point of our blade. But to make it even, we will pull out the symmetry tool. We will bring it down toward the end. Zoom in just a little bit so you can kind of get a bigger picture of what's going on here. Now, let's go ahead and take these and find the angle that we want to have. Obviously, they're farther apart, so then we got to push them in. If we like the angle, we can then take it. It takes some finessing to get it just right, but I think right about here. I like to make the point not sharp, but just enough where it looks like a good sword point. That'll work right there. Make sure we got the width and everything going. And let's go ahead and click apply. There you have it. We now have our point. So the next thing to do is to match the bevel we have going down the side here right to the point. So what I'll do then is I'll take this here, I'll turn it up about 45 degrees right there. Then try to find the right spot. Take this tool and just bring it down. Now, what we'll need to do is bring him in just a little bit closer. Something like that. I like to look at it from the side to make sure that that line's going to match that line approximately. So, let's go ahead and take that and just drop it just a little bit there. Might be a little high, so best thing you can do is go ahead and click apply. Now, from what I can tell, we're not in too bad of shape here. So we want to do the same thing down below. So we take it, pull it right about to the line there, get a look, and apply. Now, let's move this out of the way. Take a look at the blade here, and I will call that a win. Now, bring it back to the middle here, get a good look at it. Alright, what do we got? I'm going to go ahead and take the symmetry tool off by right-clicking and clicking on symmetry. Now we're going to want to get this tool back where it needs to be. So we're going to take that 45 degrees so it's back on the right axis, nice and flat. Take this and as best you can get it lined up and straight right about. This part takes some finessing. In fact, if you drag it out a little farther, you can get a little more precision. We'll call that good for now. Alright, so now our next step is coming up with a sort of contour that goes all the way down close to the tip. So we take this. I like to use this round setting right there. It's gonna make it nice and round. And I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna squeeze it in just a little bit. In fact, let's actually do this again. Symmetry tool, bring them in close together. Let's extend them out lengthwise. And from here you decide centered. Doesn't quite look centered, but it could be just an illusion. I'm thinking I'll make sure we come all the way off the edge here. And yes, we don't quite centered. Also, I'm going to make these a little bit wider, and I'm going to pull them apart just a little bit here. Alright, back to that. Also, we need to come up. Now that I've come up, it does look like we are center. So, you've got to decide how deep into the surface you want to cut. So just play with it a little bit here. I don't like to go too deep on this, but something like this. But we are a little far that way, so I'm going to come right about there. That way you get this kind of cool design going off to the end of the blade there. Now, let's click apply and see what happens here. Let's make sure we haven't come too far. I will accept that. That's not bad. So we're going to go ahead and come up from the bottom now. Do the same thing. It's kind of harder to do coming up from here. Alright, now. Something like that. Hopefully that'll get us right about the same on the other side. And one thing to consider is that no sword was probably ever made perfectly. But there we go. I will go with that. So, from here, let's go ahead and take the symmetry off and pull this into here. Let's go ahead and start thinking about what our crossguard is going to look like. Because every sword needs a good crossguard. Every blade needs a friend. So, let's go ahead and decide. I think I would like to see what would happen if we click taper. No. How about fillet? Not quite. I think what we'll do is we'll take this over to here. Turn it 90 degrees. Just like that. I'm going to scoot it over. And we're going to rotate it one more time from a different axis. Right there. Now, let's go ahead and go down. Get ourselves centered as we can. I think we can go just a little bit more down. Something like that. Okay, now we're going to bring this in. Oh, see, that reveals much. That tells us something. We need to even ourselves out on the sides too. I think we're in pretty good shape right there. So now, I'd like to extend this back a little. Pull it right about there. Okay, let's turn this back into a clay object. Let's decide on a good color. So, let's give this hilt maybe a nice kind of brassy color, which we can achieve by pulling into our yellow slightly more toward the orange. I would like to see something right about like that. Okay, now let's use our fillet tool. Not quite. Taper, not quite. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze this in just a little bit, push back over to here. Yeah, let's do a little bit more. Anything goes here. This is your world. You just make this sword what you want it to be. And I think I'm going to come in just overall a little bit smaller. The crossguards were very large on these Roman swords. Okay, right about there. Now, if I'm pleased, I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Now from here, I'm just going to scoot this back right about, well, maybe extend this out a little bit. Pull this over close to the edge, and then I'm thinking I'm gonna fillet this right about like that. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. Very basic, but still good to look at. So, click apply, and now onto the hilt. So let's bring that in like that, bring that down, bring that in just a little more. Let's kind of look at it from above. If we're okay with that width, let's go ahead and extend it out. We could do something right about like that. Okay, I like that. We'll go with that. So apply. Now, bring this back, widen it out. You know, let's go ahead and do a spherical pommel on this. Something, I don't know, right about, shrink it down a bit. See what it looks like, butted right up against that. And since most of these swords were just one-handed swords, the hilt doesn't have to be that long. Okay, that's great. I don't hate it. I almost love it. Maybe take this out just a little more. Maybe a little more spherical. More of a ball. Less oblong, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Now, if you like it, go ahead and click apply. Now, we have a very basic crossguard hilt and pommel for our generic gladius sword. But we don't want to stop there, do we? Let's go ahead and bring our cube tool back. Let's take out that roundness and that fillet. Actually, let's add the roundness back in. Let's do something like this. Let's bring it... Oh, crap. Okay. Let's bring it over here. Let's bring it back here and try to match it back up, for the most part, our piece here. Now, let's extend it out, bring this in, and give ourselves something of a kind of a rim here. We can do one toward the end. We can do one just a little bit of ways from there. This is your world. You make it how you want. I don't mind that one at all. What I might do is just widen it a little bit there. Give it a little more power, as it were. Yes. I like that. However, let's go ahead and give it a little bit of a fillet. Soften those edges just a little bit. I like soft edges. Okay, now let's just pull that up just a little bit more. Kind of match the sides better. I like it. We're going to go with it. So go ahead and click apply. Now we can decide if we want to do maybe another one on the other side there, or even in the middle. I'm thinking right about there. Because then we can put text or images or something right in that space. Okay. Let's hurry and do some work on the hilt here. Work our way back. Actually, yes, we will do that. Alright, now, here, let's shrink that down a little. And bring that in. Maybe widen that out. Let's go ahead and give it a chamfer, see what that looks like. Okay, let's widen that out. Right about there. Let's take some of that fillet out of there. Give ourselves a little bit of a kind of a grip design on there. But let's do this. Let's go in what we perceive to be the middle here. Let's see, right about, I want to say that line in the middle is our middle, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I just slid over a little bit. Let's go right there. Hit apply. Now, let's go about halfway into our pommel. Apply. Now, halfway into our cross guard. Right about there. And apply. Now, let's find a middle between the two. Right there. Apply. Right there and apply. Okay, now let's do a little bit more fancy work on this pommel here. Let's leave that chamfer in there. Let's make it bigger and then shrink that down. Something like that. So now, that and that. If we want it centered, it's going to be just kind of an eyeball. And we can maybe bring this out a little, give it a little more presence there. That's not bad. Let's go ahead and click apply on that one. Let's take a look away. That's great. I like that. I like that a lot. And actually, now that I think about it, I wouldn't mind in the middle here. We'll see how it looks in just a second. Try to center that. Yeah, let's try to center that right there. Make sure we're about even on the tops and the sides. Not bad. Maybe we can even widen it out a little bit. I like that. Click apply. Now let's kind of pull away. Take a look. That's not bad at all. Alright. I'm going to call that a win today. I like it all around. So now, we're going to take that model. We're going to export it. I'm going to call it generic gladius 1. Go ahead and save her. Well, I'm glad you joined me today on this 3D build. This was done on Adobe Substance 3D Modeler, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Getting to know it a little bit. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Be good to each other out there. And as always, be inspired.